Hello students, this is Dr. Shilpa Kapoor from the Department of Basic Sciences, Oriental College of Technology, Bhopal, and the topic of my video is Band Theory of Solids. Contains Introduction, Energy bands in solids, Conduction band, Valence band and Forbidden gap, Insulators, Conductors and Semiconductors, Types of Semiconductors, Intrinsic Semiconductor, Extrinsic Semiconductor, N-type semiconductor, P-type semiconductor, concept of holes, summary. So, introduction. In the figure, I have shown the energy band gap of the insulator, semiconductor and conductor. In the insulators, we have seen that there is a large gap between the valence band and the conduction band. In semiconductors, the energy band gap between the valence band and the conduction band is small, and there lies a Fermi level in between the valence band and conduction band. In the figure C, see the energy band gap of the conductors as shown, and there is a overlap of the valence band and the conduction band. So, the calculation of the allowed energy states in a solid is referred to as band theory or band structure of solids. Band theory of the solid is a useful way to visualize difference between the conductors, insulators and semiconductors, and is to plot the available energies for the electrons in the materials. An important parameter in the band theory is the Fermi level, which is the highest energy state occupied by the electrons in a material at absolute zero temperature. Energy bands in solids. As shown in the figure, there is an energy band gap of the insulators, conductors and semiconductors. Here I have shown the distribution of electrons in shells and subshells. In the figure, we have seen that the last shell contains the 4 electrons, which are the 4 outermost electrons and are known as the valence electrons. The following are the important energy band in the solids. First is the valence band, conduction band, forbidden energy gap or forbidden band. Valence band. The band of energy occupied by the valence electron is called the valence band. The electrons in the outermost orbit of an atom are known as the valence electrons. This band may be completely or partially filled. Electrons can be moved from the valence band to the conduction band by the application of the external energy. Conduction band. The band of the energy occupied by the conduction electrons is called the conduction band. This is the uppermost band and all the electrons in the conduction band are the free electrons. The conduction band is empty for the insulator and partially filled for the conductors. Forbidden gap. The gap between the valence band and the conduction band on the energy level diagram known as the forbidden band or energy gap. The electrons are never found in the gap. Electrons may jump back and forth from the bottom of the valence band to the top of the conduction band, but they never come to rest in the forbidden band. On the basis of the energy band diagram, we can classify the solids in insulators, semiconductors and conductors. So, first is the insulator. As shown in the figure, we can see that there is a large gap between the valence band and the conduction band. The valence band is completely filled and the conduction band is almost empty. So, in insulators, the valence band is full but the conduction band is totally empty. So, the free electrons from the conduction band is not available. In insulators, the energy gap between the valence and the conduction band is very large and it's approximately equal to the 5 electron volt or more. Hence, the electrons cannot jump from the valence band to the conduction band. So, a very high energy is required to push the electrons to the conduction band. Thus, the electrical conductivity is extremely small. The resistivity of the insulator lie between 10 to the power 3 to 10 to the power 17 ohm meter at room temperature, or we can say that they possess very high resistivity. Their examples are plastic and papers. semiconductors. So as in the figure, I have shown the energy band gap diagram, in which we can see that the valence band is filled and the conduction band is partially filled. There is small gap between the valence band and the conduction band. So the semiconductors are the materials whose electrical resistivity lies between the insulator and the conductors. Their examples are silicon, germanium. The resistivity of the semiconductor lie between 10 to the power minus 4 centimeter to 10 to the power 3 ohm centimeter at room temperature. At low temperature, the valence band is almost full and the conduction band is almost empty. The forbidden gap is very small, equal to 1 electron volt. The semiconductor behave like an insulator at low temperature. The most commonly used semiconductor is the silicon and its band gap is 1.21 electron volt. The other semiconductor which is used is the germanium and whose band is nearly about 0.785 electron volt. When the conductor is heated, its resistance increases. The atoms vibrate more and the electrons find it more difficult to move through the conductor. That is, when the temperature of the conductor is increased, or we can say when we apply high temperature to a conductor, then its resistance increases. But in case of the semiconductor, the resistance decreases with increase in temperature. So the electrons can be excited up to the conduction band and their conductivity increases. Or we can say that on increasing the temperature, the conductivity of the semiconductor increases, while on increasing the temperature, the conductivity of conductor decreases. Conductors. Here the energy band of the conductors is shown, in which we can see that the valence band and the conduction band overlap each other. So there is no forbidden gap and the conduction band and the valence band are overlapping each other between, and hence the electrons are free to move about. Their examples are silver, copper, iron, aluminium, etc. Conductors have high electrical conductivity, or we can say that they have low resistivity. So in general, the electrical resistivity of the conductor is very low and it is of the order of 10 to the power minus 6 ohm centimeter. Due to the absence of the forbidden gap, there is no structure for the holes. The total current in the conductor is simply a flow of the electrons. For the conductors, the energy gap is of the order of 0.01 electron volt, which is very small. Now the types of the semiconductors. Semiconductors are generally classified in two categories. First is the intrinsic semiconductor and second is extrinsic semiconductors. The intrinsic semiconductors are the pure semiconductors. Their examples are silicon and germanium. In the intrinsic semiconductors, the number of holes and the number of electrons are equal. Extrinsic semiconductors are known as the impure semiconductors, and on the basis of the impurity added, they are again classified in two categories: N-type semiconductor and P-type semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductor. The figure shows the intrinsic semiconductor, in which we can see the complete covalent bond. So the intrinsic semiconductors are the pure semiconductor materials. These semiconductors possess poor conductivity. The energy gap in the semiconductor is very small. So even at the room temperature, some of the electrons from the valence band can jump to the conduction band by thermal energy. The jump of the electron in the conduction band adds one conduction electron in the conduction band and creates a hole in the valence band. The process is called as generation of an electron hole pair. In pure semiconductor, the number of electrons in the conduction band and the holes in the valence band are equal. Extrinsic semiconductors. Extrinsic semiconductor is an impure semiconductor formed from an intrinsic semiconductor by adding a small quantity of the impurity atoms called dopants. The process of adding impurities to the semiconductor crystal is known as doping. This added impurity is very small, of the order of 1 atom per million atoms of pure semiconductor. Depending upon the type of impurity added, the extrinsic semiconductors are classified as p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductor. Now, p-type semiconductors. The figure shows the formation of the p-type extrinsic semiconductor, in which we can see that the presence of hole is there, and the another figure is the energy band of the p-type semiconductor. When the trivalent impurity is added to an intrinsic semiconductor, then it is said to be a p-type semiconductor. So when we add that trivalent impurity, the 3 electrons are occupied by the covalent bond, and there is a vacancy which is known as the hole. The trivalent impurities such as boron, gallium, indium, aluminium, etc. are the acceptor impurity because each atom of them create one hole which can accept 1 electron. So there is a majority of holes in the p-type semiconductor. It is clear from the band diagram of the p-type semiconductor that the Fermi level is present near the valence band, and there exists a very small energy difference between the valence band and the acceptor energy level. As shown in the figure, the valence band and dotted line is the Fermi level which is near to the valence band. There is a majority of holes in the valence band. Thus, the electrons can easily drift to the acceptor energy level, creating a vacancy of electrons, hence producing a holes in the valence band. N-type semiconductor. In N-type semiconductors, the figure shows the formation of N-type semiconductor. Here, the phosphorus impurity is added in the silicon, and due to the pentavalent impurity, there is a free electron is shown. The another figure is the energy level diagram of the N-type semiconductor. When the pentavalent impurity is added to an intrinsic semiconductor, then it is said to be a N-type semiconductor. The pentavalent impurities such as antimony, phosphorus, arsenic, etc. are called the donor impurity because each atom of them donates 1 electron to the N-type semiconductor. So there is a majority of electrons in the N-type semiconductors. It is clear from the figure that the existence of the Fermi level is near the conduction band, and there exists a small energy difference between the donor energy level and the conduction band. As shown in the figure, the donor energy band level is near to the conduction band. So the less energy is needed by the electrons to reach to the conduction band. Now, what is the concept of the holes? So for this, we can consider a semiconductor with a small number of electrons excited from the valence band into the conduction band. If an electric field is applied, the conduction electrons will participate in the electrical current. The valence band electrons can move into the empty states and thus also contribute to the current. This figure, in which I have shown the applied field, from the valence band electrons will move to the conduction band and creating a vacancy which is known as the hole, and this vacancy, as the electrons are negatively charged, so this vacancy is of the positively charged, and this plus is shown as the figure and blue dot is shown as the electrons. So if we describe such changes via movement of the empty state, the picture will be signified. This empty space is the hole. The deficiency of the negative charge can be treated as a positive charge. So we can say that the holes act as the charge carriers in the sense that electrons from the nearby sides can move on into the hole. Holes are usually heavier than the electrons since they depict the collective behavior of many electrons. Summary. The band theory of solid is a useful way to visualize the difference between conductors, insulators and semiconductors. From the band theory, we can also know about the valence band, conduction band and forbidden gap. The semiconductors contain 2 types of mobile charge carriers, that is holes and electrons. The holes are positive charged while the electrons are negatively charged. A semiconductor may be doped with the impurities such as antimony so that it contains mobile charge which are primarily electrons, and this type of semiconductor is known as the n-type semiconductor. A semiconductor which may be doped with the accepted impurity such as boron, so that it contains the mobile charges which are mainly holes. This type of semiconductor is known as the p-type semiconductor. Thank you.